Hi there, it's Pete the Hipster King, and this evening we have been playing this Terracotta Army from Board&Dice Games. What did we think? Stay tuned to find out. So, I had the job of learning Terracotta Army and teaching it to the Heavy Game Lords this evening, and I'm going to put my hands up. I made a tiny error that may have impacted on the score. It won't get mentioned. But I thought if I put it out there first of all, this is I'd say this is, in terms of weighting, this is one of the, of Board&Dice games. This is up there with their their heavier games. It's a solid medium to heavy medium game, I'd say. Not ridiculously heavy, but there's a lot going on. And so this is not by any means an easy game to pick up. There's a lot going on. Having said that, around the table, people by about round two, towards the end of round two, people had really got the flow of the game. They understood what was going on and were able to plan ahead a little bit more effectively. In terms of what you're doing on the game, it's hard. It's a worker placement game. You have got, depending on the number of players, anywhere between 3 and 5 workers that you're playing out onto a wheel. And that wheel has the ability to move. There are 3 wheels, if you like, that you can change one of them in one direction if you want to pay a bit of cash. And at the end of each round, the wheels move, and so you get, in essence, 3 actions on your turn, and those actions can be manipulated a little bit. So you've got that whole thing of standard worker placement where somebody steals your spot and that action that you really wanted to do. But if you've got a couple of coins, you can pay some coins and you can get at least part of that action that you really wanted moved into a space where you could access. So there's a bit of, it's one of those, you've got a little bit of play, but what we were all said at the end is it's really tough to plan your turns because that wheel can change and you don't know what spots are going to be available by the time it comes back round to you. So you can have a few ideas, but you've got to shift and move depending on what people are doing around you. You're going to be, in essence, with your workers, getting resources. Those resources are coins and clay. And you're going to use your clay to build little clay statues that are going to go into the mausoleum. And whenever you build a clay statue, you're going to gain some victory points in the game. You're going to place them into the mausoleum, which is a little grid on the board. And over time, that's going to score in lots of different ways. It's going to score at the end of each round. And then and at the end of the game, there's a whole heap of end game scoring depending on how you've managed to group your workers together and who's joined your group of warriors. You can use your coins to buy special warriors, and these do various different things. This guy, if you look at his base, has got a cross, and so at the end of each round, he's going to score a point for everybody who's got a warrior in his row or his column. There is this little kneeling guy, the footman. He's got an 8-pointed star. He sits in a square. There are 8 squares around him in the mausoleum. At the end of the game, whoever's got the most of their type of warriors around this person is going to get 8 points. Everybody else who's got any warriors is going to get 2 points. You've got this guy. He basically becomes one of your additional workers of the type that you've placed down, your warriors, and he just joins on and adds to your warriors. And then you've got the horse, we like this one, who extends that warrior. He doesn't count for points, but he allows you to build off him and increase the size of the coverage of your the warriors of that colour. So it helps you potentially build points later on in the game. Lots going on, lots of different ways to score. You score at the end. At the end of each round, you have a scoring phase, and then a big old scoring phase at the end of the game. Surprisingly, this game swung quite a few different ways throughout the game, and it was really unclear who was going to win. And at the end, actually, it was pretty tight at the top. There were 3 of us within sort of 7 or 8 points of each other, and that we were way up in the sort of 150s on our first game. So it was a tight little game, lots going on. Tough teach, I'm going to be honest. It's a good, solid Euro game where you've got almost all the information. There's very little luck in this. You can see what's coming, you can plan ahead, but your opponents can always kind of take that space or move that wheel so that you can't get exactly what you want, which is where some of the sweetness in this game really happens. There's a lot of interaction in some respects in this game. And on that mausoleum, as you're putting out your planning where you're placing your warriors, again, there's a whole heap of interaction that happens in there too. I really enjoyed it, but it was a tough old 2 hours of work. It's a thinky one, this one. So you've got to be in the right mood. You've got to have the right group for this one.
Slightly Birdie James here. So this is a modern game which is released, and it does not do solo. Yes, not every game needs to be a solo game, right? So Terracotta Army, lovely rulebook. I really love the way that this has been laid out. Really, really clear to find what you're looking for. I really appreciated this page at the back here, and there's also the quick guide, which gives you very quick information about the different special things that you're going to be doing. Another thing that I really liked about this is, so when you've got your kind of, here they go. When you've got your, I don't know, what do you call them? Warriors. The terracotta warriors that you're making, they are all stored in this. This is actually storage and really useful information, because as you take them out, you're going to be scoring more and more points. Look at them go. Whee! So the first one that you take is going to be 8 points, 7 points, and so on. But on the side, there is information for everyone to see. It's all the way around. And that is the special abilities that you're going to be able to activate. Everybody's got 4 tokens, which are the different types of weapons. Swords, halberds. They've all got fancy names. Crossbow and a pointy spear thing. Each one of those does a different thing, which is really useful for the stuff that you're trying to do, to maximize your own points, to manipulate things in whatever way you want to do, and just straight up get points. I really like the way that, for example, this one here has got that very important red symbol. Here is the inspector. There are 2 of these. One of them marches up and down the columns, and one of them marches along the rows. And at scoring, every single time, these guys are going to look along the row or the column that they're next to, and that is what's going to score at the end of each round. There are 5 rounds. This is really important because this is where you can get big points. This is where the rules gaff came in, and it's fine because I came out very well out of this. Because
very well.
I listened to what Pete had said, and I maximised off of it, whilst everybody else complained. Saying
there was a mistake. This can't be right.
It can't be right, but it was until it wasn't. And so these guys are. I just love the theme of this. Like, this is what made me connect with the game. Because it is quite a big thing to wrap your head around, because it's quite a thematic, taking clay, making clay warriors, terracotta warriors. I just love the idea that scoring comes from these inspectors walking up and down. And so you can manipulate where they are to try and get your warriors to be looked at. I really like that. This game, the lasting feeling that I've got from it is that my brain is tired. You've got to think, well, you don't have to think, but if you want to do well, you've got to think quite hard. There's a lot of ways to maximise in this game. There's a lot of ways to kind of do clever goes, which is something I love. The thing that I found very frustrating about this game was that now, us Hairy Game Lords love making a 2-hour game into a 4-hour game. We love making a children's game into a 3-hour game. We like to overthink things. And the theme of tonight was, it's worth planning your go in advance, everybody. And that was said many, many times by many, many people. Mainly Dave, who then took a good while to take his turns. But
hey guys, I think we could do a speed round.
Yeah, we should do a speed round.
Whose go is it again? Oh,
Dave's.
2 hours later. So the problem with this is you've got that wheel, and we're going to get a picture up there. It turns, and one of the wheels on the inside turns one way, and the other one turns the other way. So you've constantly got shifting options, and especially when you've got 4 people in between you and them, you might have trouble planning your go, because you can spend 2 of your coins to change up your actions, which is really cool, but it adds such a lot of length to the game. So the one that really got me, and it's probably because I'm bitter about it, is that Pete moved the flipping wheel just before I was about to pull off something incredible, and it added probably, I don't know, 5 minutes to my turn time, because I didn't know what I was doing anymore, and suddenly there are 12 options, and then you add the opportunity to move the wheel, and so you've got another 30 options. Maths is my strong suit, so this game has got a lot of opportunity to be long. And
Like this review.
review. Hey!
Hi, Dave the Grey. Right, let's get this out of the way to start with. James won by 7 points. He probably, due to misunderstanding the rules, scored 7 points, probably scored at least 14 to 20 bonus points from us misunderstanding the rules.
Dave,
Therefore, I won.
What was stopping you from doing the same? Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good question. Silent. Yeah.
So, cool stuff. This has got some really, really strong theme. So, obviously, they're not even meeples. The models for your Terracotta army are really cool. Some of the spears are a little bit wibbly wobbly, but on the board they've got a great presence. So that's ace. The worker placement side of things with the spinny wheel that changes every turn, that is awesome. Really enjoyed that. And we only had 3 workers, which makes it really quite tight. And then there's extra overseers that you can gain later on that let you keep some of your clay wet or get coins, and loads of stuff going on. Really, really cool. And yeah, just so theme-wise, awesome stuff. The bit I struggled with was the scoring is quite obtuse. These guys look ace in the mausoleum, but even though you've got your coloured bases, once you're the other end of the table, it's quite hard to see what's what, what's where, and they kind of get in each other's way. So at the end, to be honest, I just left Pete and James to work out the scores, because I didn't have a Scooby what was going on in the mausoleum. I had my points here. Over there, I'd got some stuff, and actually I did better than I was expecting to, because I was expecting to do really quite badly. And as it happens, if you ignore James, I won. As ever with this kind of game, I think second time round, I'll understand it better right from the start. It always takes me a couple of turns to go, I should be doing that. Of course I should. Whereas James just seems to get it straight away and be able to take advantage of any slight inconsistencies with rules, which is what happened tonight. But no, I enjoyed it, but it is quite a tough one as a first play. I think needs a second play to really go, this is good or this is great. We shall see. So I'll give it a thumbs up. I think second play is probably going to be the testing of it, whether it goes, yep, I love it, or it's quite hard work for the little grey cells. But looks great. If you're into this kind of sort of worker placement and really having to think about your scoring, I think you'll love it. If you like a slightly more relaxed game, maybe not.
This is I, Ange, the bearded lady. And yes, this game, taxing. I find that I think I have a game face for most of the games from these guys, and that is one of a very kind of blank expression when Pete is so well in teaching the rules. I very quickly go into a
Fugue.
Yeah, my screensaver comes on, and I know that frustrates Pete. Sorry, Pete, but it means then that by maybe the third round, I'm kind of like, oh, I think I'm getting it. And yeah, this game, what I like about it is that it is more than just a worker placement. that wheel thing that you've got going on there is great. I do like that. You eventually get used to the iconography on it and can work it through. I like the whole idea of you've got this clay and you need the clay to build, but you also need some coins to be able to sort out the different masters that are on the kind of. I guess the board is split in 4. There's the wheel, then there's the what's this area here? The
Masters.
Is it the masters? So you need coins for the masters, and those masters actually, if you can manipulate them in such a way that they can really benefit you. There's one of them that kind of, if you've got enough clay, you can do your second or your first move again. So if your first move was a build, then you can do another build on that go, which is really cool. You've got then the area where you're building the Terracotta army, which is great, and as has already been said, nice theme on there. And that, in essence, is a little bit of a puzzle going on. For me, am I a puzzly person? Probably not. And the Hairy Game Lords were very gracious in guiding me in that, which was great. And then you've got the 4th area, which are kind of like the special, the extra kind of like dudes that you can build. And again, they add just some more scoring element to it as well. So there's a lot going on, as you've already heard. And I enjoyed it to a degree until it just became too much, I think, for me. And yeah, the scoring at the end, it was a case of I haven't a clue what's happening here. Which is probably why I came so far behind in last place. So yes, out of all of the different games that we've played from Board&Dice, in terms of theme, I think I like this one the most. And actually, even though I struggled with it in terms of sort of there's so much going on, even though that was a bit of a struggle, I kind of liked the fact that there was so much going on. The game didn't feel like it dragged at all because there were so many different elements for you to have a go at. There's the worker placement, then there's the building of the puzzle, then there's the trying of manipulating some more of the points. So I kind of like that. And and I think that if you are into that kind of thing, then this is a good game, certainly to get your teeth into. Also, that box art just looks great. I love the way it's dark and it looks ominous and it just looks proper cool. So good skills on that. I'm going to give it a thumbs up, this game. And would I play it over and over again? Not sure I would, but I enjoyed our first thoughts and first playthrough this evening.